Actress Terry Peto says the death of renowned casting director Moonyeenn Lee has left a big void in the industry. In a statement, Peto says this is a big loss for the global film and television industry. Moonyeenn Lee's family says the 76-year-old died from coronavirus-related complications. Lee's career spanned 47 years. She discovered and developed a number of local actors during her illustrious career. Some of the films she was involved in include the Oscar-winning Tsotsi, Hotel Rwanda, Black Panther and Blood Diamonds, among others. Well, we're joined by the South African Guild of Actors chairperson, Jack Devnarain. Jack, good evening and condolences to you and the industry for the loss of Moonyeenn Lee. Let's reflect on what exactly it is that the industry has lost tonight.
This is a powerful personality and a founding figure in developing the industry and trying to establish a lot of the policies that we use to regulate the industry, and a hugely influential person, not just in South Africa, but also a recognized force from overseas. And generally, when producers from overseas wanted to come to shoot in South Africa and use the locations and use local talent, their first stop would usually be Moonyeenn Lee, and it's something that she took very seriously and a reputation that she prided herself on.
Of course, for many aspirant actors and actresses, when they looked to at least have an agent, they felt if you ended up in Moonyeenn Lee's arms, then you have what you need in terms of the foundation for a successful career.
If you are able to follow the rules, and she laid down the rules with an iron hand, so she would make sure that you understood exactly what was expected of you as a professional. She made sure that you presented yourself as a very polished package. Everything in terms of your height, your weight, your looks, the way you manage your skin, the way you present yourself, and the way you prepare your lines for each and every audition. That was pretty much the standard, and she expected nothing less than excellence. And people who were on her books for a long time, people who got the roles and who were able to reflect that success in their careers, certainly stood by that, and she was their greatest champion.
Let's talk, Jack, about who she was as a person too. You've been in the industry for quite some time, and you might be able to shed a bit more on just her personality that made her the kind of formidable figure that she was.
Yes, she was known and she will always be remembered as somebody who was very forthright. She didn't have the time to coach people gently into, how to manage their own careers. She expected that you were already at the top of your game before you even arrived in her office. She would give you a cursory glance and she would be able to size you up in very few words and very quickly. And it's exactly the kind of experience that you would have if, in fact, you had the good fortune of finding yourself an international agent or an international manager. So she was able to bring that international experience into South Africa and give South African talent a kind of an idea of what you should expect if you want your career to go beyond South Africa's borders and you want to allow your career to grow further. So she was able to bring the standards that the international community and the international industry expects. But she would apply it right here in South Africa, working hard with South African talent.
Much of it also seemed to have centered on who she was as an individual. So she was the person who attracted the contacts. She was the person who had the incredible black book that many in the industry would have wished they would be able to get their hands on. What happens now that she's gone?
Well, we know that her agency, MLA, is in very good hands. They are very capable people who have been managing the agency for a long time. And in fact, I think they've been hands-on for long enough so that they too would either be able to get their hands onto that little black book or have one for themselves. And yes, she did have an extensive network that spanned the globe, and there were all kinds of producers and distributors who were in that book, including the names of talent. And let's not forget that Moonyeenn, being a producer, casting director, and an agent, meant that her interest in the industry spanned all the various strata. So it wasn't just dealing with talent, it was also dealing with the business end of the industry as well. And often actors might even tell you that dealing with the talent is probably the smallest part of managing the industry. So that's very much who she was. Her interests in the business, her interest in the talent, her exposure to the industry as a whole from all different levels was vast. And I think that's something that she'll always be remembered for.
Jack, any personal encounters with her that you want to speak about?
I think she was, yes, I did deal with her occasionally when she saw me for some auditions. There were a few castings that she felt I might be right for. And of course, from an industry regulatory level, where we exchange a number of ideas on how to try to bring order and how to try to bring some regulation into an industry that is notoriously known for not having any kind of protection for actors. It was something that she cared deeply about, and it was a great privilege to be able to share those ideas with her and to exchange ideas, understanding that I'm from a whole different generation. But she treated me with the greatest respect, and I did her as well.
I can imagine there are a string of broken hearts tonight, Jack, especially of actors and actresses who look at their careers and they know that they would not have made it as far as they had if she hadn't taken them under her wing. Do you think there's going to be any kind of memorial from the industry just paying tribute to Moonyeenn Lee?
I'm almost certain that there will be, and it will almost certainly have a presence from her international partners as well. We will be trying to establish from her office and her family whether there is going to be some kind of arrangement in that regard, and the South African Guild of Actors will be communicating with our members as well to try and put that word out there. So I imagine that this will just be, unfortunately, Kathy, there are a number of memorials taking place. We also remember Elise Kaywood, who also is a veteran actress, performer on stage, screen, television, and film, and also a wonderful character who also passed in the last 24 hours. We'll be remembering her as well. So. I think the industry is a little punch drunk as it is because we've been looking at, the number of personalities who have left us, including Mom Mary Chwala, and even before that, Jovan Madre as well. So I think we're all reeling right now, and this caps off, a tragic sequence of incredible personalities who all left an indelible mark in our industry and in our hearts.
Yeah, we really are in a bit of a dark season, aren't we, Jack? Thank you so much for coming onto the show. The SA Guild of Actors chairperson, Jack Devnarain.